Hello, I'm Esther Gitu. You are welcome to Africa 54. Here's what's coming up. Convention, U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris looks to chart a new way forward in the race for the White House. The U.S. Agency for International Development funds a project to help young people in Malawi turn their business ideas into sustainable enterprises. Kamala Harris accepted the nomination to be the Democratic Party's presidential nominee Thursday night at the Democratic National Convention. In her acceptance speech, she contrasted her record and vision to that of her Republican rival, former U.S. President Donald Trump. White House Bureau Chief Patsy Widakuswara has more from Chicago.
What about us? What about all the times you said you had the answer? What about us? What about all the broken happy ever afters?
Riveting musical performances during the final night of the Democratic National Convention included Pink, a national anthem sung by country group The Chicks.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam?
But Kamala Harris was the star of the night.
On behalf of everyone whose story could only be written in the greatest nation on earth, I accept your nomination to be President of the United States of America.
Harris told her personal life story, connecting it to middle-class voters' experiences.
We are charting a new way forward to a future with a strong and growing middle class, because we know a strong middle class has always been critical to America's success. And building that middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency.
She highlighted her background as a former prosecutor, in line with her party's strategy to contrast against Republican nominee Donald Trump, who has been convicted in court.
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
Like many other speakers, she warned of a document outlining extreme right-wing policies linked to Trump. The former president denies it.
And we know what a second Trump term would look like. It's all laid out in Project 2025, written by his closest advisors. And its sum total is to pull our country back to the past. But America, we are not going back.
Inside the convention, it was all applause. Outside, pro-Palestinian rallies were held every day.
The protests outside have not swayed Harris' position on the war on Gaza. While she called out for more protection and aid for Palestinians, she reaffirmed support for Israel's security. She called for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza and a pathway towards a two-state solution.
Gaza is the Democrats' one area of disagreement. Out of around 4,700 delegates, 270 signed a petition demanding that the U.S. stop arming Israel. Harris' address to the nation came just a month after President Joe Biden announced he would not seek re-election.
Joe, I am filled with gratitude. Your record is extraordinary, as history will show, and your character is inspiring. And Doug and I love you and Jill and are forever thankful to you both.
As Harris spoke, Trump sought to reclaim attention by visiting the U.S.-Mexico border and hosting a social media event. But nothing dampened the delegates' enthusiasm.
She's setting us up for the future, a future we've been waiting for, a future that really represents everybody in this country. And we are elated that the wicked witch is dying and we're moving forward with a good life.
Kamala explained exactly what's at stake for this country. We're all flying the American flag. We all have USA, and that's for a reason, because this is a fight for this country.
Running mate Tim Walz joined Harris on stage to close out the convention with just 74 days to the election. Patsy Widakuswara, VOA News, Chicago.
We're continuing our coverage of the Democratic National Convention with analysis of the event. And joining us now is Todd Belt, a professor and director of political management at George Washington University here in Washington. Professor Belt, what are your key takeaways from this convention?
Thank you. It's good to be with you again, and greetings to your viewers. The key takeaways, I think, were that it was a successful convention in terms of doing the two key things that the Democrats needed to do, which is they needed to introduce Kamala Harris to America. She was vice president, but vice presidents really live in the shadow of the president. They needed to really tell what her story was and why she is up to the task of being commander-in-chief of the United States. And the second thing was to really talk about why she is an alternative to Donald Trump and what her vision for a Harris administration would be. We got that in some pretty broad strokes. We didn't get real specific details, but that's not what usually happens at a convention. Usually at a convention, it's more generalities. And I think moving forward, we're going to hear more about what those policies are that she would promote, especially since she's going to need to be able to explain them in the debate coming up on September 10th.
As we have seen, and does the choice really matter?
Does the choice really matter between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump?
No, I'm talking about I'm talking about the key speakers. You know, we had President Clinton, former President Clinton.
Speakers matter.
Yes.
Yes, the speakers. I think that the selection of speakers mattered a great deal, particularly in contrast to what the Republicans had. And the Republicans didn't have any former presidents speaking. It's just the Donald Trump show at the Republican convention, whereas you have all of the living Democratic presidents speaking, with the exception of Jimmy Carter, who had some of his family members there, which really shows the unity of the Democratic Party moving forward, whereas the Republicans are more fractured. And that can be really important when people look at which party really has their party together.
And what do you see, where do you see the campaigns going from now on, and which states are likely to be what you call the battleground states where these two presidential candidates might be spending more time?
That's right. I'll take the second part first, and that is the battleground states are actually expanding. Kamala Harris has made some of the states that we didn't think were going to be what we call the swing states into swing states. North Carolina. We didn't think that that was going to be competitive. It is now competitive. The big three that is called the blue wall that Democrats absolutely need are Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Expect to see Tim Walz and Kamala Harris there quite a bit. Of course, Georgia is very important. Remember, Donald Trump lost that very closely, just by about a little over 10,000 votes. And you might remember he was trying to call the election officials and get them to find those votes. That was very close. Of course, Georgia. Arizona, like last time, was very close. That will be a swing state this year. And Nevada has become very close. It wasn't a swing state last time. It will be this time. And what do they need to do moving forward? Of course, speak to the voters in those states, but also talk about why an America under their administration will be better and will have better results for the day-to-day lives of the voters in those states.
Todd, what should our viewers expect in the upcoming debate between the two presidential candidates?
Well, this is really where it's going to get interesting. Obviously, the last debate is where Joe Biden really stumbled and had to leave the nomination to Kamala Harris.
Right.
And it's
yeah, we got to leave it there for today, Todd. Thank you very much. Todd Belt is a professor and director of political management at George Washington University here in Washington. Turkey is mediating between Ethiopia and Somalia, which are locked in a dispute mainly over sea access for Ethiopia. At issue is a deal that Ethiopia signed earlier this year with the self-proclaimed breakaway region of Somaliland. Ankara's mediation efforts are seen as underlying its growing influence in the strategic Horn of Africa region. Dorian Jones reports from Istanbul.
Today,
Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan described this month's second round of talks between his Ethiopian and Somali counterparts as constructive, even though no deal was reached. Ethiopian-Somali tensions have been on the rise since January, when Ethiopia signed a memorandum of understanding with Somaliland, a breakaway state from Somalia. Under the agreement, Ethiopia would secure sea access in exchange for recognizing the breakaway state, a deal condemned by Somalia for infringing on its territorial integrity.
Obviously, Ethiopia needs access to a coastline. It's the second largest country in Africa. It's a booming economy, and somehow that deal needs to be made. But it's not going to be easy because of the previous deal earlier this year with Somaliland.
Somalia this week threatened to block access to Ethiopian airlines in the latest round of diplomatic tensions. But analysts say Ankara is well placed to mediate, given its historical and deepening ties with both countries.
Turkey established its largest embassy in Somalia's capital. It also established its largest military training facility, again in Somalia. But Turkey also has old and established relations with Ethiopia as well.
The Somali parliament ratified an agreement earlier this year under which Turkey will help protect its territorial waters and participate in the search for hydrocarbons there. Turkey is one of the largest investors in Ethiopia. Analysts say more than diplomatic kudos are at stake for Ankara in resolving the Ethiopia-Somalia tensions, given the region's location on one of the world's key trade routes and vast untapped potential.
There's a reason why the Horn of Africa has American military bases, Chinese military bases, Japanese even have a base in that area. It's hydrocarbon resources and other resources like agricultural resources and have not been developed and would need networks of infrastructure that a country like Turkey could provide if there was security and stability.
Talks are set to resume in September. Analysts say success would underscore Turkey's growing influence in a region of increasing international competition. Dorian Jones, VOA News, Istanbul.
High unemployment in the southeastern African country of Malawi is prompting many young people to create their own businesses. A USAID-funded project called Business Acceleration for Youth is helping people between the ages of 15 and 24 turn their business ideas into sustainable enterprises. Chimwemwe Padata explains from Zomba, Malawi.
Gloria Gomba is one of the youths eking out a living by poultry farming, a medical practitioner by profession. 33-year-old Gloria has for the past year been running her own business, a successful small-scale poultry farm business. Like Gloria, many young people unable to find employment in Malawi are turning to entrepreneurship. The Business Acceleration for Youth BF4I project under USAID is offering grants that can help make their dreams a reality. Thanks to the USAID program, Gloria is now the founder of Vunika Farms.
I received the Business Acceleration for Youth business grant amounting to $2,500, which helped me to purchase day-old chicks, buy the chicken feed and some vaccines and medicine, and also pay employee wages for 2 people.
Her poultry farming idea would not have taken off with her meager financial resources. She is not alone. According to worldbank.org, the estimated rate of annual economic growth for the country of 20.41 million people is just 2.6%, while the unemployment rate among young Malawians between the ages of 15 to 24 is 6.8%. Using the grant, Gloria built a crowd to start her business. She has since employed 2 people and occasionally engages casual laborers from her community to assist with farm work. 28-year-old Gabriel Sekea is another beneficiary of the BF4I project. Using the $2,500 USAID grant, he boosted his restaurant business operating under the banner Pakwao Foods.
The project has really transformed my life. It gave me a different perception of entrepreneurship, and I managed also to gain some skills that before the project I never had such kind of skills.
Youth activists admit that lack of startup money for starting a business, along with a volatile market for products, remains a challenge for young entrepreneurs.
The problem with young people is not ideas. The problem with young people is to have the seed fund that will bring out their ideas and invest it. But I think moving forward, that what I would comment is that not just there's capital, but the young people need also to be exposed to international market, because that has been a challenge.
The International Center for Tropical Agriculture, CIET, that handles the business acceleration for youth projects, says the 5-year program has strengthened the resilience of youth and women-led business startups in the 9 districts of Malawi.
We have a total of 200 grantees in the southern region. And what we can say and what we've seen so far is that this really has been a very impactful project, because these youth have not just empowered themselves, they've diversified their incomes, they've employed other youths as well, so there's some employment generation that's coming from there. And really, we've seen some infrastructure development, and a lot of livelihoods in the southern region have been empowered through this project.
Implementation of the 5-year Business Acceleration for Youth project ends in December 2024, but it has helped young Malawians like Gloria to build a lifelong sustainable business. Chimwemwe Padata, VOA News, Zomba, Malawi.
Still to come, VOA's Jackson Mvunganyi speaks to the talented Mozambique music group, the Yaba Buluku Boyz. Stay with us.
The World Health Organization recommends that babies be exclusively breastfed for the first 6 months of life. Yet it has been reported that many mothers in Africa do not exclusively breastfeed their infants due to changing cultural norms and lactation challenges. On the next edition of Our Voices, we'll explore how breastfeeding can contribute significantly to the child's survival and look at options for new mothers to produce or get access to safe breast milk. Join the conversation each week right here on Our Voices.
In other news, Somalia is threatening to suspend Ethiopian Airlines flights to Somalia unless concerns over, quote, violations of Somali sovereignty related to destinations served by Ethiopian Airlines are resolved. Many observers in the region say they believe it refers to the Ethiopian Airlines flights to Hargeisa, Somaliland. And Botswana says one of the largest diamonds ever found has been unearthed at one of its mines. The government believes the massive stone, nearly 2,500 carats, is the second biggest ever brought out of a mine. The weight makes it the largest diamond found in more than 100 years and the second largest ever dug out of a mine after South Africa's Cullinan diamond, which was over 3,000 carats. In celebration of hip-hop's 51st anniversary, the U.S. Embassy in Zimbabwe in August is hosting a cross-cultural exchange program called Next Level, featuring 5 artist educators. Keith Baptist explains from Harare.
Residency initiative in Zimbabwe aims to foster a cross-cultural creative exchange through the universal language of hip-hop music and dance. Plot Marco, a partner in the exchange program and founder of Jibilika Dance Trust, an organization working with the young artists in Zimbabwe, says that the initiative received numerous applications from eager participants.
There's been so much enthusiasm, there's so much hunger, there's so much zeal, there's so much drive, and it comes at a time when hip-hop in Zimbabwe is really at its peak.
The program brought together American and Zimbabwean hip-hop artists to participate in workshops and classes, followed by live performances. Participant Nick Neutron says there is much more that unites artists.
My experience in Zimbabwe has been amazing. There's so much music talent here. It's so many similarities in the art, but differences in the lifestyle, I guess.
Producer and remix artist Kriti says the program is also a way to connect with talent.
This has been an absolute dream. I've been working with the beat makers closely. They are some of the most talented people I've ever met.
Rebecca Archer-Kepner, a foreign service officer at the U.S. State Department, says while hip-hop music is thriving in Zimbabwe, challenges with monetization and providing artists with the tools to succeed in the entertainment industry remain a major issue.
The creative economy is really ripe in Zimbabwe. There's so much talent. There's so many amazing artists. And sometimes the thing that they lack are either contacts or business skills. And so we work a lot we bring artists from the United States to help them improve their network, grow their network, figure out how to do the business of music.
The group of artists from America said they were amazed to see how the hip-hop industry in Zimbabwe mirrors that of the US. However, artists like D1 say that there is still room to grow.
This Next Level program has allowed me to be a part of transforming the minds and the skill sets of some of the best rappers that I've ever seen.
Local artists like Tafadzwa Tarukwana, who goes by his stage name ASAP, and Zimbabwean rapper Banshee applaud the program, saying it has opened their perspectives into the business of music and the art of collaboration.
It's been an awesome experience, man. For me, the biggest takeaway has been the 4 M's. That's the mental, the message, the music, and the money.
This experience has been so immersive. Like, we learned a lot. It transcended just the music. It became a lot about who we are and how that communicates into what we create. So it's been so amazing. Yeah.
Aisha Upchurch, site manager for the Next Level program, says Zimbabwe has a robust hip-hop culture, given the huge response they received from the applicants.
It's been magic as a site manager and someone who's been doing this kind of hip-hop cultural diplomacy work for over 10 years.
Participants of the Next Level initiative say it encourages artists to share their art and knowledge, with continuous learning and artistic growth for everyone involved. Keith Baptist for Voice of America in Harare, Zimbabwe.
It's time for our entertainment report, and joining us now is VOA's Jackson Mvunganyi, host of VOA's Red Carpet, with news on a fantastic music group from Mozambique. Hello, Jackson.
Hello, Esther. That's right. Each member brought their unique talent to the group after having achieved success as solo artists. Before joining forces, DJ Tariko, recognized as one of the pioneers of the Moz piano genre, Nelson Tivane is considered one of the best musical writers in the country, and vocalist Prek, with his husky voice, formed the supergroup, the Yaba Buluku Boyz. On their first visit here in the US, the group talked to me about their origin story. Let's check it out.
The song, has been, I think, one of the biggest songs coming out of Africa. Yeah. So the question is, who are these Mozambican kids? You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about you. Who are you guys?
Hey, Yaba Buluku Boyz. Let me introduce myself. My name is Nelson Tivane, all the way from Mozambique, musician, songwriting, Yaba Buluku Boy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Let me introduce myself. I am DJ Tariko. I am producer and DJ of this group, Yaba Buluku Boyz.
Yeah. My name is Prek. I am single. Yaba Buluku Boyz.
With the voice, the husky voice, by the way, I was telling you guys earlier, Prek's voice is so unique. I thought you had manipulated it somehow in your computer. You know? But for real, like when you listen to that song, you know, it's such a powerful voice. So let's talk about how you came together. You know, all of you individuals, you know, really great at what you do. One of the best writers, songwriters in Mozambique.
Thank you.
Much respect to you, man.
Thank you.
How did you get to work with him and him?
As a songwriter, I used to write songs for many artists in Mozambique. Tariko and other producer and DJ, there was they were a group. They released a song. The name of the song is Chaya Shingomani. The song became big in Mozambique, around Africa. And then they invited, after that song, they invited me to the group to join them. And then Maputo, the capital, to do music. He used to do music, sozinho. Alone. Okay. As a solo music. Yeah. So when he came, he met Mr. Tariko, and Mr. Tariko started to produce him his songs. And then when Tariko was doing, me and Tariko, and then we
already collaborating.
Was a group. The name of the group was Afro Majaha.
Afro Majaha.
Yeah, that's mean African boys. So there's boys always.
Boys somewhere. Yes, sir.
Yaba Buluku. Yaba Buluku. Yaba Buluku. Hey. Hello guys. Yes. Yaba Buluku Boyz. And you are watching Jackson on Voice of America. Yaba Buluku. Yeah. The new member of Yaba Buluku Boyz. Yaba Buluku Boyz. New member. Yeah, it's a rap. Yaba Buluku. Yaba Buluku. Yaba Buluku.
Esther, as you can see, I was inducted as a Yaba Buluku boy, so from there on, you need to call me that. And you know, Yaba Buluku. Back to you, Esther. That was our entertainment report.
All right, Jackson, thank you so much. Yaba Buluku guy, Jackson Mvunganyi. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you back.